morning, viewers, and welcome to your Tuesday, December 29, 2020 edition of the Market Review, where we bring you key developments in the market as relates with the economy. Today, as we always take a look around the fixed income and bonds markets, we just want to give a wrap of the key things that happened in that space for the year 2020. But we'll begin our program with the Zedcrest preview market previous market performance review. We give you updates from the Sustainability Accounting Standards Board and the review of activities in the bonds and commercial paper space in 2020 and other key developments that shaped the markets in the year. So we begin with Zedcrest preview of last week. We said activities at the FGN bond space remained slow as yields continue to weaken day on day, with bids and offers widely dispersed on most of the benchmark maturities. The bears got desperate in the market, scrambling for any possible bids to offload their bonds. Offers were battered at the belly of the curve, climbing approximately 15 basis points from last week's level, while at the tail of the curve, there were rates jump by about 40 basis points, with offers ranging between 7.8% to 7.9% levels. Bids adjusted slightly across the curve, consequently expanding by 4 basis points. Zedcrest expects to see sustained supply in the sessions, albeit weak demand, as the market slides into, of course, recovery from the holiday mood. The Treasury bills space also had activities pick up. The bills market has solicited bills from January to April become popularly demanded. This may have been attributed to the swap and OMO maturities for the banks that hit the system. Most of the short-dated bills were initially quoted at 0.40%, but slid by approximately 20 basis points as their demand increased. Zedcrest also saw interest in the Central Bank of Nigeria special bills sold to banks that was matched with adequate supply to fill the few market demand. On the other hand, the mid and longer dated bills saw no joy in last week's session as market participants shrugged off the urge to trade at that for the end of the curve. Zedcrest expects that through the holiday period, the market will generally slide into another interesting mood and operations will continue to be seamless. For the money market, system liquidity jumped by approximately 165.92%, supported by swap and OMO maturities credited to the system. The market opened the day at 751 Naira 80 kobo, causing overnight rates to drop further by 13 basis points as overnight buyback and overnight rates closed last week at 0.50% and 0.75% respectively. Zedcrest expects that the market will remain stable at these levels and hopefully in the course of the week, funding that needs to reverse the trend will continue. For the foreign exchange market, the investors and exporters foreign exchange window dropped by 2 Naira, despite the Apex banks slowing down in forex supply in that window. Quite a significant volume passed through the space, and we saw about $117 million in that regard, with bid rates ranging between 296 Naira to $1 and 296 Naira to $1. However, all the other market segments remained relatively stable for the third consecutive period last week. In the Eurobond space, the Nigerian sovereign stickers had a bullish session, supported by the slight recovery in crude oil prices, which initially dropped below $50 per barrel. They also saw a little demand from local participants, consequently causing yields to fall by an average of 4 basis points across the sovereign yield curve. The Nigerian corporate stickers were also bullish, most especially the CEPLAT 2022s, and strengthened by 17 basis points. That's some previous week review from Zedcrest. Let's take a look at the Sustainability Accounting Standards Board, SASB. They have seen the need to connect businesses and investors as it has to do with the financial impacts of sustainability. Standards which are available for 77 industries, identifying the subset of environmental, social, and governance issues most relevant to financial performance in each industry. Companies around the world use SASB standards to identify, manage, and communicate financially, materially, and sustainability information to investors. So the SASB standards are designed to be cost-effective for companies on average. Each standard has 6 disclosure topics and 13 accounting metrics. The standards help investors assess sustainability data that is comparable, consistent, and reliable. SASB's rigorous and transparent standard setting process includes evidence-based research, broad and balanced participation from companies, investors, and subject matter experts, and oversight and approval from the Independent Standards Board. Standards are an important tool because improved transparency leads to improved performance. When companies use the SASB standards to disclose comparable sustainability data, investors can clearly compare companies on their sustainability performance and can allocate capital to the best performers. Companies can benchmark their performance against peers and work to improve their sustainability performance to increase shareholder value. This creates a race to the top on improved environmental and social outcomes, ultimately making the capital markets a powerful lever of change for a more sustainable and just world. SASB is a non-profit organization and has a foundation board of directors that oversees the strategy, finances, and operations of the entire organization and appoints members of the SASB board. It's an independent board and continues to drive sustainability and particularly the 2030 target of SDGs across the globe. The SASB funding model includes 3 pillars of support, earned income, contribution from market participants, and philanthropy. Let's get on to a review of the year and, of course, the bonds and fixed income market. It was a very interesting year when it had to do with private sector participating in the bonds and commercial paper space. I mean, that's one of the big takeaways for the year 2020. Private sector was really engaging and leveraging the market to carry out financing for their operations and activities. Boa Cement in the year had its 100 billion naira 7-year fixed rate on secured bond program rolled out, which of course is continuing to receive a good response from the market. Fidelity Bank, as part of its measures to expand its operations and support SME development in Nigeria, also engaged the market with 75 billion naira Series 1 bond issuance. This is part of its program to deepen its activities in the market. Cardinal Stone, through its special purpose vehicle, had a 5 billion naira Series 1 bond issuance in the year, and also it received a huge subscription and reception from the market. Nigerian Breweries also had its 20 billion naira Series 9, 10, and 11 issuance from the bond space, and this has to do with commercial papers. Coronation Merchant Bank had 10 billion naira Series 1 issuance in terms of activity in the bonds market space, and that was a very interesting development from its part. Mixter Real Estate PLC had its 2.39 billion naira Series 28 commercial papers under its 20 billion naira commercial paper issuance program carried out. It also was part of the activities that really brought some verve to the bonds and fixed income market. Dangote Cement, industrial giant in Nigeria, also commenced its 150 billion naira Series 17 and 18 commercial paper this year, rolled it out and had some good reception. Edo State Subnational, the state government notified the market of its planned 25 billion naira fixed rate senior guarantee Series 1 bond issuance by River Jemison Special Purpose Vehicle Limited. This is guaranteed by an irrevocable standing payment order ISPO on the state's revenue issued by the State's Ministry of Finance. So that's the subnational that just gave that hint. So we'll all be looking forward to when that kicks off in New Year. Nova Merchant Bank also engaged the market with a successful 10 billion naira 7-year subordinated unsecured bond under its 50 billion naira debt issuance program. The transaction represented Nova's first bond issuance in the debt market and was oversubscribed by 300%. Just shows you how the private sector really embraced and leveraged the space. Guinness Nigeria PLC also rolled out its 10 billion naira Series 1 and 2 commercial issuance program, which also had a good reception. MTN Nigeria also issued a 10 billion naira Series 1 and Series 2 bond issuance program. And that was part of those private sector activities that help to drive the market, and just showing you that prior to now, it used to be more of the government crowding out the private sector, but we're now beginning to see the private sector involved in the market. Now let's take a look at some other developments in the market that should be of interest to our viewers in the bonds and fixed income space. First is that the FMDQ group. Of course, FMDQ is a major exchange player in this market, debt market and fixed income space. It initiated its business continuity plan when we had the outbreak and the pandemic announced, to ensure that market operations continued. And this is something that is commendable, because like we said earlier, looking at the equities market yesterday, that the Nigerian Stock Exchange did the same in ensuring that its technology platforms continue to move seamlessly. Same happened with the FMDQ. Its operations move seamlessly, and that is something that must be said as a very interesting takeaway for the year 2020. Trade continued, no disruptions, and that is a big thumbs up to leadership in the market. Also in the year, there was a webinar, and the FMDQ, just like Nigeria Stock Exchange, leveraged the virtual platforms to engage stakeholders through webinars and various activities to discuss the markets, fixed income and the bonds market. So at one of the webinars, the discussion around leveraging the debt markets to create was an opportunity for experts to discuss Nigeria's infrastructure development and how this can be achieved by leveraging the debt market. Mr. Bola Nadele-Koko, the Chief Executive of FMDQ, said that infrastructure development is critical for economic growth, reduce poverty, job creation, as well as improving the well-being of the citizenry, and the debt capital market provides a key avenue through which infrastructural growth can foster and promote economic development. So, in a clear sense, the CEO of FMDQ was very clear that the debt capital market will continue to be a key driver and support to Nigeria's economic growth prospects. Also in the year, the Nigerian financial market recorded a groundbreaking and game-changing milestone following the successful registration of the FMDQ Clear Limited by the Securities and Exchange Commission. This, of course, is a game changer. This happened in September 29, 2020. And this made it become Nigeria's premier central counterparty, CCP. As a critical and much-needed financial market infrastructure, this laudable achievement redefined the landscape for the financial transactions, as the FMDQ knows and introduces its endless possibilities to scope of permissible products that can be developed and deployed within the ecosystem towards delivering long-lasting prosperity to the Nigerian economy. The FMDQ Clear CCP ushers the actualization of the outstanding building block that will enable the development of thriving repurchase agreements, derivatives and commodities markets in Nigeria, like other developed economies and markets. Also in the year, the FGN Savings Bond 2020 was oversubscribed. It received very warm and great reception throughout the year, and that was one very great story. And in the year, in particular in August 2020, Central Bank of Nigeria took those key steps towards exchange rate unification and the adjustment of the official spot rate. It moved to 279 naira to a dollar. And also in the year, the Central Bank of Nigeria did a lot in terms of supplying foreign exchange to the bureau de changes, and also did its amendment to the diaspora remittances scope in terms of foreign exchange. So a lot had happened in the foreign exchange space. The Central Bank of Nigeria continued to intervene where required, and that was a significant step it took to say it was working towards unifying the rates. Don't forget that the international financial institutions analysts have really called for that, because it's very important to address issues like arbitrage and others, that excesses that we see in the foreign exchange market space. But analysts throughout the year re-emphasized the need for a transparent, accountable, and dynamic foreign exchange system that incentivizes investments. It was believed that when we have a very robust and transparent foreign exchange system. It can encourage foreign direct investment and even foreign portfolio investments, and can also help in businesses to thrive. So the foreign exchange market was very, very key. We saw levels of steps by the Central Bank of Nigeria, which we describe as currency management, but it was a huge challenge, particularly when Nigeria's felt the heat of the crude oil price decline to $26 per barrel between March and April. But with stabilization of things, we are looking at the Central Bank of Nigeria being bullish in its intervention and role in the foreign exchange market. Currently, the crude oil price hovers between $47 to $49 per barrel. Also in the year, we had more steps taken to ensure that the fixed income market, which of course used to be the to-go market for investors, the yields were not really coming as expected, but it was an opportunity to once again reclassify portfolios and explore other opportunities in the market. The FMDQ and other stakeholders explored green financing, which has become a very big opportunity for sustainable development in Nigeria, even as Nigeria seeks to achieve its own quota of beginning to set the pace for sustainable financing. So stakeholders gathered to discuss around this at the Financial Center for Sustainability, which is domiciled in the FMDQ. And we can say that for this year, the quest to strengthen the framework for sustainable financing received huge boosts and collaboration and cooperation. We intend to see more activity next year in that regard, because the private sector has been described as a key player that will help in financing Nigeria's sustainable development. In the words of one of the business leaders in Nigeria, we need to develop a way in which we can commercialize sustainable development in Nigeria. And finally, it's been a lot that's happened this year, but the one important thing that we can say is that we saw much more leverage of the local market from the federal government in terms of its debt activities, and we also saw opportunities taken by the private sector. So hopefully in 2021 we'll see more of that activity. We'll see more companies who have a very good flow in terms of revenue, and who also have a very good track rating in terms of rating agencies coming on board to explore opportunities to raise capital. So the bonds and fixed income market, you will relatively say, was very, very engaging. It's a challenging experience, but more opportunities for reforms and driving capital mobilization to support economic development in Nigeria. We expect to see more of that as the new year beckons. And we just want to thank our viewers who have been there throughout the year, interviews, the sessions we had discussing with various experts around the fixed income and bonds market. Definitely shows that there's a lot of opportunities and much to happen in the years to come. So thank you for keeping faith with us, and we hope to continue to provide you those real-time key informations as we even restructure our programming to serve our viewers better in 2021. It's been very interesting. I want to thank you, and also want to thank all our team, our production team, who have been part of this interesting experience, giving coverage and bringing updates from the bonds and fixed income market space in Nigeria. You can join our website, www.prochange.com, to watch our videos, read our news reports and stories around the bonds and fixed income space on ProShare. We have it there. Just go to the right-hand bar and scroll. You see bonds and fixed income. We'll give you all the updates from expert analysts and financial groups that cover that space. Till we come your way again, thank you for watching. Have a nice day, and please continue to stay safe.